What a play called by Tom Izzo in that timeout.
I was 7 years old watching a football game by myself, and I saw those winged helmets come out of the tunnel, and I was hooked at that point.
Hayden, Chicago! Oh my God! Hayden with the overtime winner!
Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6-6 game. Jameson Williams, he's got it! Touchdown, Lions.
Did you watch? That's the question many people have. Did you watch the Home Run Derby? Do you still enjoy the Home Run Derby? What is it that you enjoy most about the Home Run Derby? How do you feel Netflix did with the Home Run Derby? All those things. Something to ponder on a Tullymore Tuesday. Welcome, everybody.
It's like 21 questions right there.
I know. I know. It's kind of like the Friday six-pack. Isn't it, Andy?
It's like, you ever seen the movie Uncle Buck?
I have.
Where the kid's asking him all the questions. And he says, as a kid, it's my job. That's like the part that I'm thinking of right now.
Were you thinking anything similar to that last night? That's the thing that I'm oftentimes wondering.
I mean,
Welcome, X's and Bros. He's Andy McDonald. I'm Matt Shepard. We're brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth. Jordan Walker wins the Home Run Derby, becoming the first Cardinal to win it. Outlasted Kyle Schwarber 12-11 in the finale and earned $1 million. Made more last night for hitting, 12 home runs in the finale?
Yep.
Than he did or will all season long, playing 100-plus games. Seems a little odd, doesn't it? Kyle Schwarber, who makes millions and millions of dollars, won $500,000. I mean, Schwarber makes $30 million a year, man. And he won $500,000 last night, okay?
Yep.
But Bryce Harper was involved. He makes $26 million. Ben Rice makes $845,000. So that means he would have, had he not been eliminated, had the fewest home runs in the Derby. I'll be honest with you. I don't enjoy the Home Run Derby. I don't like the way it's broadcast. I don't like I'm in awe of how far, like, Contreras' home run was unbelievable. Of what, 91 feet, was it? It was close to that. I forget exactly what the number was. I don't know if it's 461, 481, what was it? But I don't see the whole point of it any longer. I mean, we all love power, I suppose. I'd love to see Jacob Morowski throw 104 miles an hour too, and see who could do that. I want to see something other than just home runs, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was 491 for Wilson.
491.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd like to see baseball do a little bit more than just the home run derby. I say this every year. Okay, I say it every year, and obviously it doesn't gain traction, so not enough people listen to me. I don't know if people think it's a good idea.
I do. I think that people think it's a good idea. I think I definitely.
Why doesn't baseball do it? I was literally in New York, like roughly 4 years ago or something, in the MLB offices. We went through there to look at instant replay and did a lot of different things for a broadcast team. And I said to them, just out of curiosity, why don't you guys expand the home run derby? And they said, to what? I said, well, I'd like to see the guy who goes first to third fastest. I'd like to see the best bunter. Place little targets around the infield to do that. I'd like to see the guy who's got the strongest arm from right field or center field. And I think a lot of people were worried a little bit about that because it might injure you. I mean, guys have been injured in the home run derby too.
I was going to say that's
pulling rib cages or whatever the case may be. But whatever. I mean, look, it's not going to change. People love the home run derby. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been sold out last night. Although I think there's a lot of those are corporate sponsors.
Yeah, I think. Well, and also the fact that it was in Philly last night, I think added to it a lot. I think that's what drew me in more, just because they were cheering so hard for Schwarber and booing so hard for anybody else that he went against. That was that kind of made it more interesting, I feel like, in that aspect. But it was fun to watch. I mean, I definitely didn't dislike it. I was into it at the end for sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie about it. But I think I like what you're saying though, because I think that there should be more than just a home run derby as the main act. That sucks. That's the part that sucks about it.
Yeah. Why Netflix?
That's like the one thing that you feel like you could just for the All-Star weekend for baseball, if you didn't want to watch the game or whatever, you could at least turn that on, really fast, and now it's on an app and you got to figure out where it's at and stuff like that. I feel like that drove a lot of people nuts.
Yeah, I just didn't understand it. Sometimes leagues, not just Major League Baseball, leagues in general feel like they've got to reinvent the wheel all the time. And I don't think people feel that way. I mean, people just like to sometimes there's something to be said for consistency, don't you think? Where I know where I can get it, and I'm good with that.
100%. Yeah, that's what people want. They don't want it to change.
I don't think they take fans into account at all.
No, clearly.
I really don't. That's something that I've praised the Pistons for. I mean, Pistons have deserved a lot of credit for going back to over the air. Look, the Phoenix Suns did it too, but we'll see what happens with that. 96th annual All-Star game taking place tonight in Philly. Philly starter Christopher Sanchez gets the nod for the National League. He's the first Philly starter in an All-Star game since Roy Halladay in 2011. This is interesting. And the 7th overall. Dylan Cease of the Blue Jays will start for the American League. He joins Halladay and Dave Stieb as the only Toronto pitchers to start the game. Pretty unique. Meanwhile, Jackson Jobe made his second rehab start. He tossed three scoreless innings, allowing just 2 hits and striking out 4. Michigan basketball hires Brown head coach Mike Martin as an assistant coach. He spent the last 13 years at Brown compiling a 171 and 202 record. And we know he won't be coaching LJ Kaysen because the point guard has entered the transfer portal. Here's the Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question. Andy has already tweeted it out. I've retweeted it. Do you enjoy the home run derby? Yes, I like it the way it is. Yes, but they need to shorten it. No, it gets old fast. Or no, I'd rather see other skill competitions. You can vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. We give you the results on Wednesday's show in the 8 o'clock hour. I think it'll be, I suppose, we only have 4 choices. That's all the algorithms or whatever will allow us to do. I do think it gets old fast. They did shorten it, which is better. No clock, which is better. You love the kids running around and trying to grab fly balls and all that other stuff. I just, I need to do a better job of remembering when people go to the ballpark early. Why do they go? They go to watch batting practice, don't they? Not many people are there to watch them single down the right field line. Most people are there because they want to see the ball go over the fence. And me too. I understand that. What's interesting about that whole concept is that most people watching Tigers batting practice were in awe of Miguel Cabrera. Why? Everything to right. His first time through was everything to right field. Shot everything to right field. And it's one of the many things that coaches encouraged young players to watch when it came to Miguel Cabrera. They would watch him take batting practice. He didn't come right out of the gate trying to hit home runs. He hit the ball to right field. His back control was simply spectacular. So need to keep that in mind, that's not why people go and watch. People go and watch to hit home runs or to watch home runs. Were you fired up for it? Are you fired up for the All-Star game or not? That's something we'll get into. The lineups and one Tiger is starting. We'll get to that on the other side as we get rolling here on a Tuesday, a Tullymore Tuesday, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
Huge here for all the ABC warehouse locations in Michigan. Now, if you're looking for the best prices on TVs, furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more, you need to go to abcwarehouse.com. You can shop there and also shop in person at all ABC warehouse locations across Michigan. For the one close to you, go to abcwarehouse.com. Best deals on TVs, appliances, furniture, and mattresses at all ABC warehouse locations in Michigan.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
The big shows are at Soaring Eagle. Eric Church. All you gotta do is put a drink in my Friday, August 14th with special guest Ashley McBride. The Free the Machine Tour, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $87 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com.
Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
The party starts with Eric Church plus Ashley McBride, August 14th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for the Purple community of Van Andel Institute. They're honored to be a part of the Make Ways for a Great Cause at the Stand Up for the Cure Lakeshore paddleboarding event at Ross Park in Norton Shores on Saturday, July 25th. Grab your paddleboard and your sunscreen to raise awareness and critical funds for community health programs at Hackley Community Care and Breast Cancer Research at Van Andel Institute. Paddleboarders of all experience levels are welcome. The vibrant event will also include yoga, music, family-friendly entertainment, and screenings for breast cancer. Learn more about Stand Up for the Cure Lakeshore and register at suftc.org.
Man, like I've been saying, I have 35 people coming tomorrow, so that's going to be great for them. It's going to add to the experience. Grew up a fan of the Phillies. Grew up coming to this ballpark all the time. I did not think my first game in the bank would be an All-Star game, but now I'm here, and I just can't wait for tomorrow. I think it's the biggest thing that helped me growing up was the people I surrounded myself with. Never really had a hitting coach growing up. It was always just my dad and I. And growing up, my dad was like, don't you let anyone touch that swing. So I've had the same swing growing up and kind of the same mindset of the game growing up. And I'm never going to let that change. I think that's what got me here. And I think that's what's going to help me succeed in my career.
That's Kevin McGonigal. Really good stuff.
I love that line about the
too.
swing with his dad. That's awesome. Yeah. Don't let anybody touch that swing.
His dad's right. Now, there's a smart ass answer to that. If it's not working for you, then obviously you have to touch the swing, right? But it has worked for him. There's a reason he was a first round draft pick. There's a reason he's ascended to the major league so quickly. There's a reason he's the lead candidate for Rookie of the Year. There's a reason he's an all-star. And you could argue he's the reason that Tigers fans have so much hope moving forward. All those things. Now, is he the only reason they have so much hope moving forward? No. If I asked you and your buddies, give me the top 3 reasons you're confident in the direction of the Tigers. Kevin McGonigal's one of those reasons, right?
100, yeah, for sure.
Okay. What would the other 2 be?
I'd say a lot of people are obsessed with Dylan Dingler right now, for sure. The way he's been.
Well, he's an all-star. Yeah, he's arguably the best catcher in Major League Baseball.
The position he plays too is so important. So having him is a huge part of it. Even though I think people should talk about Riley Green more, they don't. It doesn't seem like enough. But I think I would go with the young starting pitchers like Troy Melton.
I think you're right.
Cater Montero. Right. People are still hoping that Jackson Jobe comes back and is good.
I think you're 100% right there. Those are all the answers that I would have said. You brought up Riley Green, which I think is excellent. It's frustrating to me, to a certain extent, that Riley Green almost gets overlooked. There's only one Tiger who's starting, and it's Riley Green. Now, granted, Byron Buxton had to get hurt and Aaron Judge had to get hurt. So Riley Green and Cody Bellinger are going to start for the American League. He's made the All-Star game 3 consecutive years. Now, whether you think that's legit or not, it doesn't really matter. Everybody else does. Major League Baseball does. Players do. Coaches do. Most fans do. He is an all-star for 3 consecutive years. The last Tigers outfielder to do that was Al Kaline. I'm not telling you he's the equivalent to Al Kaline. I'm giving you perspective. The last Tiger to make 3 straight all-star appearances was Miguel Cabrera. Oh, and by the way, he is starting in back-to-back all-star games. He's not just a guy coming off the bench. He's going to start for this team in Philadelphia and bat 8th, which I think is fantastic. We have focused, and I get it from last year. I get that the thing that jumped out at you about Riley Green last year were the strikeouts. And you and I have had this conversation. I don't know how briefly, but and how recently, but it's worthy of noting. Everybody was upset about the 200 plus strikeouts a year ago. It led the American League. I get it. 201 specifically. They conveniently forget the 36 homers and the 111 RBIs, which led the team. I don't know. Do people recognize now that how much better he has done in general in strikeouts per 9 and how he's walking more, or do we only focus on the negative? Do you think? My guess is
people still focus on the negative. It feels like, but
yeah. So his strikeout percentage is down from, it was at close to 31% a year ago. It's at 27 this year, and his walk percentage a year ago was at 7. It's at almost 13 this year. He's almost doubled his walk percentage.
Yeah, it's been a clear effort to change both categories, and it seems like it's sticking. So,
on top of that, his hard hit rate is the highest it's ever been. And I know it's an unpopular take because we are so caught up in McGonigal and Dingler. I am too. The hope that you have for Job, who looked really good in his second rehab start yesterday, and Troy Melton and how good he's been, and perhaps some others moving forward, and I get it. And maybe there's some people, look, last Friday, Andy had an interview with Bryce Rayner that we aired. Maybe there's a lot of people who feel like the adjustments he's made in his swing have been so advantageous that you can't wait to watch him make his debut. I'm with you on that. Maybe it's Max Anderson. Maybe it's Max Clark. Maybe it's Briseño. I don't know. Maybe there are certain players within the system that you look forward to, and they're not even Tigers just yet. Fine. Why is Riley Green overlooked? I mean, here's a guy. We're talking about young players. He's 25, Andy. Just because you've been around for 5 years, and this is his 5th year, doesn't mean that you can't get any better. Now, he's a veteran from a Major League Baseball standpoint because he's got 2,500 plate appearances in his career. But he is a guy who is still only 25 years old. And he's a guy who's giving you regularly. I mean, he had the 1 year that was a little bit of an issue, right? His first year was the next year. The next year he had the injury, right? Because he was brought up early in 2022. The last 3 years, 137, 157. This year so far, 95 games. It's pretty damn good, don't you think? Like reliability is really important.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think people would respect that. Yeah,
I would hope so. I was listening to I think it was ESPN last night. Tim Hasselbeck was on, and they were talking about. We'll get into this a little bit later on. They were talking about the quarterbacks and how they have been rated. Remember, we've gone through this almost a different position every single day. Cornerbacks, linemen, all this stuff, right? And somebody was surprised that Joe Burrow was as low as he was. And Tim Hasselbeck is like, Tom Brady rarely missed games. Joe Montana rarely missed games. Joe Burrow misses a lot of games. That's a really important statistic. Your availability to your team. Well, Riley Green's been pretty damn available. I mean, there were, while people are complaining about how he runs and how he isn't super fast, and early in his career, the injury, like he injured his foot on a triple to center field against Garrett Cole and the Yankees in a spring training game. I was there. I was watching it, and I saw him leave with one leg on a scooter when he left Lakeland. Now he has been extremely consistent. The Tigers have played 96 games. He's played in 95 of them. So there are some who's like, well, he was pinch hit for in the past in a playoff game. You're going to focus on that instead of all the things that he has done so well overall, including on average, getting 690 at bats or plate appearances, I should say, 616 at bats per season for you. That's pretty damn good. On average, giving you 25 bombs. And the power's down just a little bit this year. On average, giving you close to 90 RBIs. And like I said, being a 3-time All-Star. There's something to be said for that. Anyway, are you fired up for tonight? Are you super excited that Mike Trout is back home and starting in a leadoff position and in center field? That's pretty cool. Kevin McGonigal obviously being at home. I think that's fantastic. And hopefully,
I'm excited to watch him playing, I think, more than anybody else, to be honest with you.
McGonigal?
Yeah. And maybe that's just because obviously Detroit and everything else. That's the part that I want to see the most, though, just because I want to see what they have to say about him and everything else. But
yeah, and then you get two Phillies who are in the starting lineup for the National League. Kyle Schwarber leads off. He's the DH. Brandon Marsh is in right field. He's batting 7th. And then, of course, you've got Bryce Harper coming off the bench. So there's a lot of cool storylines in addition to, hopefully, I hope Justin Verlander gets an opportunity to pitch to at least one batter. That would be fantastic.
That'd be awesome.
Instead of just being on the as a Legends pick. All right, got to hit a quick timeout. When we come back, that's fun stuff. When we come back, which group are you going to follow at the Open Championship? It starts in a couple of days. We'll get to that here on X's and Bros on a Tullymore Tuesday, brought to you by Mitch Lineswell.
We go together. The Jonas Brothers.
I'm a sucker for you.
The Greetings from Your Hometown Encore. The Soaring Eagle Outdoor Concert Series. Special guests, Boys Like Girls. Tickets for the Jonas Brothers start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. Hang out with the Jonas Brothers and Boys Like Girls August 5th at Soaring Eagle Casino. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Get a jump on back-to-school shopping with hot deals on Meijer brand must-haves. Stock up on school supplies for $1 or less, including Meijer 70-sheet notebooks, glue sticks, 2-pocket folders, and 10-count washable markers. Plus, save on breakfast favorites like select varieties of Meijer toaster pastries, pancake mix, syrup, and instant oatmeal, all just $1.79 each. Good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See the Meijer app for details.
Check 1, 2.
July is hot at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Alanis Morissette. Jordan Davis with Tucker Wetmore. The Lumineers. And Mary J. Blige with El DeBarge.
Come on, baby, just party with me.
Tickets for all shows are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
First off, I'm going to start out with Chase Utley. Chase Utley I was a big fan of Chase Utley. Of course, Mike Trout, that's also here. I'm a big fan of him. Bryce Harper. I mean, it's just unbelievable to I'm here in this stadium with those group of guys, and I heard Chase is around here, so hopefully I can catch up with him a little bit. I think it's going to be another moment of this week that I'm sitting there, I'm just like shocked. It's going to be like a bunch of faces that I grew up watching, a bunch of faces that are stars of this game, obviously, and the biggest thing I want to do is pick their brains and try to get better.
It's so cool, man. I love that perspective. It's Kevin McGonigal. It shouldn't really surprise us, I suppose. He brings up Bryce Harper. He didn't say Kyle Schwarber because he probably didn't grow up watching Kyle Schwarber. Maybe he did as a Cub. They're just the third pair of teammates from the host city to compete in the home run derby like they did last night. Other duos, the 92 Padres had Gary Sheffield, former Tiger, and Fred McGriff. And then in 2007, you had Giancarlo Stanton and Justin Bour. Never would have guessed that one. All right. Harper, also last night, one of just 3 players to have won the home derby in his home ballpark. Now, he didn't win it last night, obviously. Jordan Walker did. But Bryce Harper did win it in his home ballpark in 2018. Todd Frazier, Ryan Sandberg were the others home run derby champions. I completely forgot that Ryan Sandberg did that. I would not have guessed it. All right. So let me give you the starting lineups and you pick the best, and then we're going to get into something that took place last night, and it's very odd. Starting lineups. You ready? Let's go by position. American League. Mike Trout. National League, Andy Paez. Who's better?
Mike Trout.
Okay. Mike Trout is better nationally.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, in his career.
Yeah.
But what about this year?
I honestly don't know.
So you would rather have Mike Trout.
I still would rather watch him. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Andy Paez has got 17 homers, batting 270. All right. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. Mike Trout's been hurt. Andy Paez is having the better year, dude. From that standpoint, right? Trout got off to a great start. DH, Yordan Alvarez or Kyle Schwarber?
I mean, Yordan Alvarez is having the better
For sure.
season. No question about that.
He's on pace to win a Triple Crown. So I would go 1-1. All right. Catchers, Shea Langoliers or Baldwin. What do you do there?
Gosh, I don't know.
Shea Langoliers, obviously, with the I almost said Oakland, with the Athletics, and you've got Hunter Goodwin. I'm sorry, I said Baldwin. Hunter Goodwin for Colorado.
I know more about Langoliers, so I don't know.
Or Drake Baldwin. I'm sorry, I said.
I don't know much. I don't know much about him. So
Drake Baldwin for Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Shea Langoliers. He's had a better career so far, or a better season so far. Third base, Junior Caminero, who hit the longest home run last night of 491 feet. He's at third base. And then for the National League, their third baseman is, who is it? It's Max Muncy, right? For the Dodgers. Caminero.
I think Caminero for sure. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Witt Jr. or C.J. Abrams? Bobby Witt Jr. or C.J. Abrams?
I love Bobby Witt's one of my favorite players in baseball, so I would take Bobby Witt.
Right. Cody Bellinger in right field or Brandon Marsh in right field?
Brandon Marsh.
Yeah.
I would take.
Sure. Ben Rice at first base in the American League, Freddie Freeman in the National League.
I feel like Ben Rice is having maybe the better season. I don't know much about Freddie this year. I don't know what he's doing. So
Freddie's having a good year.
I would take Freddie any day of the week.
He's batting 290.
Yeah.
He's driven in 49 runs. He's got 15 bombs.
If you're asking me who I'd rather watch, it'd be Freddie Freeman. But
yeah, I'd probably take Freddie Freeman. All right, a couple more. Riley Green in left or Juan Soto?
I mean, it would probably be Juan Soto.
Yeah, it'd probably
I'm
be
being
Juan
a complete
Soto.
homer, I feel like, in that situation.
But Riley Green's a much better defender.
He is a better defender. That is true.
Ernie Clement or Ozzie Albies?
Ernie Clement
for the American League.
I think Ernie Clement's having the better year.
Ozzie Albies for out of Atlanta. Ernie Clement's batting 296.
Yeah.
For what that's worth. Ozzie Albies, not quite as good. Ozzie Albies, more RBIs by far. Okay. And double the home runs. So I'd probably take Ozzie Albies. And then you've got Dylan Cease against Christopher Sanchez. I'd take Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of pitching, as I mentioned, I hope Justin Verlander gets the opportunity to dive into some type of situation that allows him to showcase his stuff. Now, it's a little bothersome considering he's only appeared in one game for the Tigers.
Right.
So suddenly, if he was available for the All-Star game, it would bother some. I just want to see it one more time. It's selfish. I get it. I want to see it one more time. I'd like to see him face one batter. That's all. All right. Bring him in for one batter. At what point, I don't know. But what's interesting is he's as well known. Like you're never, unfortunately for you guys, you're never going to see a 300 game winner. All right. Never. Never again. Because Justin Verlander is the closest you can get. I feel bad for young baseball fans today sometimes because not that Justin Verlander isn't a high bar. He is. All right. But Justin Verlander's got 266 wins in his career. Are you ever going to see another one? If this is a guy who he's thrown for 21 years and he's not going to get 300 wins. All right. Who was the last one to do it? I forget. I don't know if it was Roger Clemens. I think it might have been Roger Clemens was the last one. 354 wins. Maybe Greg Maddux, 355. But Verlander's, look, you talk about a player who's accomplished. He's as accomplished as you get. He's an MVP. He's a Triple Crown winner. He's a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. He's a 2-time World Series champion. He's a Rookie of the Year. He's won 2 ERA titles, right? He's been around a long time. Anybody who follows baseball knows Justin Verlander is probably the standard, him or Clayton Kershaw, during their stretch. All right? Won 20 games a couple of times in his career. Led the league in WAR in a number of different times during his career. But he's also a guy who, once he made it to the majors, he's sticking to the majors, right? Alex Rodriguez, do we have this, Andy? Alex Rodriguez did an interview on Fox last night with Justin Verlander. This is how part of it went. Listen.
Justin, first of all, I've been a huge fan of your career from day one when you stepped into the old Yankee Stadium and blew balls right by me. Good memories. You know, for you.
You always had 3,000, so, you know, that's also
one.
Yeah, of course.
10 against 1. No, but I also look at you as like, I look at Tom Brady, Jeter, you know, Poppy, Mariano as guys that played into their 40s and is doing it at a high level. But there's for the young ones that are out there watching. How do you explain being a late draft pick, being designated for assignment a couple times, but two different teams, right?
Me?
Yeah, no. That's wrong.
I get it.
No, but the question I have for you is, how have you been able to be so good for so long, and sometimes you even became a better pitcher late in your 30s?
I think it's just the ability to adapt. I think that's what separates great from good.
Okay. It's painful. First round, late round draft. You just take the second overall.
You could tell he didn't even start that answer.
I mean, it's just kudos to Justin Verlander. Quite honestly, Justin Verlander could have easily said, "I've never been DFA'd. I was the second overall pick out of Old Dominion in 2004. The guy who was taken ahead of me, Matt Bush. Maybe you're thinking of Matt Bush. Probably not, because he wasn't a late round pick. What are you thinking? I mean, is there another Tiger who's a late round pick? Yeah, Tarek Skubal. He's not there in Philadelphia. Is there another Tiger who's been DFA'd? Will Vest was DFA'd. Is he in Philadelphia? No, he's not. I don't understand where Alex Rodriguez is getting his information. If he's been a big, quote unquote, big fan of Justin Verlander since he debuted in 2005, I'm guessing if you're a big fan of somebody, you know a little bit more about them than what Alex Rodriguez just indicated. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. It is beyond frustrating for me to hear somebody in that position go about his business that way.
Yeah, and follow it up like that. I think you could hear it, like the awkwardness there for a second. If you go and watch the video, like David Ortiz's face is so funny on the other side. He's kind of just like, oh, he just did that, like
yeah. This is not Kevin McGonigal. With all due respect to Kevin McGonigal, who was a first-round pick, hasn't been DFA'd, obviously, and is making his first All-Star game. If Alex Rodriguez is sitting next to Kevin McGonigal and maybe not knowing his entire story, you almost could understand it. You shouldn't, because you've got all day to prepare for this event, knowing you're going to have certain guests on. You can prepare for those guests. I don't know if he's going through AI and AI is wrong. I don't know if he talked to a source and the source is wrong. I don't know if he was just talking to a drunk fan in Philadelphia who'd rather throw a snowball at Santa Claus than know what Justin Verlander's career looks like. But either way, Alex Rodriguez has received some really bad intel. I would love to have known as they went to break what Verlander then said to Alex Rodriguez after that ridiculous introduction. DFA'd twice, never DFA'd. Late round pick, second overall in the first round. What are we talking about?
I mean, it started off so good of them, like, kind of getting a laugh out of all of them, and then it compares him to like Tom Brady and all this stuff. It's like, okay, all right, sweet. And then he just says that. You're like, where did that come from?
Here's the other thing. It's interesting in baseball. You can obviously get drafted more than once. All right. In baseball, that happens. You get guys who will get drafted out of high school. All right. And they'll decide to go to college. Or you may get a guy who is drafted out of college and want to return. All right. There are plenty of guys who are originally drafted. They said, you know what? I think I can do better. So I'm going to go back in the draft and see how much better, of a draft positioning I can get. That happens quite a bit in Major League Baseball, to be honest with you. But Justin Verlander didn't do that. Justin Verlander was drafted out of Old Dominion. So to me, it makes absolutely no sense how in the world Alex Rodriguez is coming up with this information. Let me give you an example. Tarek Skubal originally, I don't know if people realize this, he was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2017 in the 9th round. Okay? Or in the 29th round, excuse me. In the 29th round in 2017, he was drafted by Arizona. He said, screw that. I'm going to go back to school. He goes to Seattle University. Okay? The next year, he is drafted by the Tigers in the 9th round and turns pro. All right. So it happens more than, for some players, some athletes, more than once. Okay. That didn't happen with Justin Verlander. I can't figure out for the life of me, for as long as Alex Rodriguez has been around the game, and Alex Rodriguez played against him, right? So how you can be around the game as long as you have and get ready for a broadcast and not do that, or and stumble your way through that. Alex Rodriguez played against Justin Verlander 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, missed 14, 15, and 16. 11 years he played against that dude. And I'm not asking you to do a biography on him, but how you can get ready for a national broadcast like that and then sit there and try to convince people and tell people, give them that type of information and be so wrong. You correct yourself, it's one thing. Somebody else corrects you, it's another. Nobody corrected him.
Yeah, you could know nothing about him for all 11 of those years. That's some quick research right there to figure out that he wasn't DFA'd ever and where he was drafted at. Like
all you have to do, literally all you have to do is type in Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
And every baseball broadcaster in America knows that. It's easy to do that. Via text, Shep, we may also not see more than 5 players in a season with a 300-plus average, when in my day, there were always 20 to 25 players, maybe even more in a season. yeah, I suppose, what we could end up doing? We could end up seeing guys with a lot more home runs than we've ever seen before. If there's a bit of an offset for something like that. Last year, just so you know, there were 7 guys who hit 300. Not to get nitpicky. Aaron Judge, Bo Bichette, Jacob Wilson of the A's, George Springer, Jeremy Pena, Trey Turner, Yandy Diaz. Those are the 7 players who hit 300. Not enough. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying to put that in perspective. The year before, there were 7 guys who hit 300. Now, way back in the day, how far do you want to go back? What's far enough for us to say back in the day? Let's go 2002. Okay? Since it's 2026, 2002, how many guys hit 300? To the texter's point, and again, that's not way back in the day, but to the texter's point, Alex Rodriguez was one of them. You had about 25 guys, 30 guys hit 300. Barry Bonds, Manny Ramirez, Mike Sweeney, Larry Walker, Vlad Guerrero, Bernie Williams, Todd Helton, Chipper Jones. I could go on. There's about 25 to 30 guys who hit 300 back then. Now, are we chasing home runs? That's the question. And how many is enough? 40 enough for you? Back in 2002?
Yeah.
Okay.
40 sounds pretty good.
40 sounds pretty good? Okay. You had 2, 4, 6, 8 guys hit 40 home runs in 2002. Last year, how many guys hit 40 homers? Any idea?
10?
Roughly. You had 7.
Okay.
So the home run now, the league leader with 60, Cal Raleigh, which is playing like a shadow of himself. It's a lot different. That's more than 44 that led it in 2002. Okay, so that's a big difference. But the number of 40 home run hitters is roughly the same. The batting average is different. And then you know what we could do? You could go into strikeouts. How many guys struck out? What do you want to say? 150 times? Is that too many times? 140 times?
150 feels like too many times. I feel like people don't want to see 150.
Okay. So you had 42 guys last year strike out 150 times or more. Okay? That's a lot. 42 guys. Back in 2002, you know how many guys you had? You had about 9.
I was going to say less than 10 because of the difference in the game. Yeah.
So therein lies part of it, right? That the strikeouts are way up. The home runs haven't changed a whole lot, at least during this time span. And you've got a lot less guys making contact and hitting for average. There you go. So it's a really good text. We appreciate it. A few more texts when we come back. This is X's and Bros on a Tullymore Tuesday. We're brought to you this hour by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
September 11th at Soaring Eagle, a hot night of soul.
Somebody sexy, tell them hey.
3-time Grammy winner Neo and the princess of hip hop, Keisha Cole. Tickets start at $53 and are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com.
Music that takes you there. Neo and Keisha, September 11th, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, the season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, PLAN, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddyThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddyThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The huge show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
These are full circle moments, man. You remember your last season, we had that last at bat. You and I got to face off. I threw your heater up and in. You just missed it, hit a 700-foot pop-up. You looked at me. I was walking off the mound. You looked at me. We made eye contact. And like we knew. I was like, I got you, barely, but I got you. And that was fun. And then, G, I know you remember your last season. I came up and asked you if I could just get anything from the game used. And you, first at bat, fastball in, shattered your bat. You're running down the first baseline yelling at me, that's why I'm retiring. And then after the game, you sent me the bat. You had it all taped up, probably taped it like bad on purpose. Sorry. And so that bat comes over all taped up, and to Justin, this is why I'm retiring. There, G. And like, man, like it's such a cool thing to be here with you guys. And like, remember, I'm sure you guys, it was a whirlwind, but to like see where you guys were at then and like get to compete against you at the highest level, and to be able for me to be on the other side of that now and be on the way out, I don't know. It's just really cool. I appreciate those moments.
Memory that Justin Verlander has with David Ortiz and Derek Jeter, and that's phenomenal stuff.
For sure.
You can be able to tell those stories moving forward, you know, to whomever. I mean, I think sometimes being around professional athletes, sometimes it gets a little old for them because what common fans always say, right? They're always, hey, who was the best batter you ever faced? Who was the easiest batter you ever faced? Can you tell me the hardest time you've ever been hit? All these different things, right? Those guys have certain moments in their careers against one another that they like to relive. Not all of them are great, but when they run into somebody, I remember the time. So I've got a buddy who played in the NFL for a long time, could not block Lawrence Taylor. But just the fact that he was matched up with arguably the greatest defensive player of all time. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, those two memories, you could hear like at the end there, he was kind of like, you could just tell they were like special to him because he kind of was trying to find the words for a second. And then he got off real quick after that, like to be done, because you could tell if he kept talking about it, he was gonna be emotional, because those are the moments that he's probably gonna miss like a lot.
I think you're right. I mean, when you talk to athletes about the best memories they have or what they miss the most, oftentimes it's about being in the clubhouse, being in the locker room, getting ready for games with, just hanging out with their friends, right? I played golf with Gibby the other day, and we always go back to certain moments in his career. While everybody looks at home runs, he remembers certain other things, confrontations, support, Sparky Anderson bringing him into his office and saying, hey, listen, you know what? Lou needs some help today. Help him through some things. So Kirk Gibson, the media was on one specific player. How does Gibby get them off that player? Well, he does something a little outlandish that forces everybody to grab the attention toward that moment rather than focusing on the negative of another player. Certain things like that. And you could tell that's exactly where Justin Verlander was going with a lot of those guys, and the battles that they had. And for him to remember, Derek Jeter running down first base,
right on
that's
it
the
like
reason
that,
I'm retired.
yeah.
It's those are the things that happen on the field of play that we don't always see because the camera's following the baseball, and you may not be close enough to hear that. So
no, the way he's talking about two bigger guys, like it's Justin Verlander talking about him like that, and you can tell like that means something to him. Playing against guys like that, he's thinking about those guys as all-stars, like kind of thing still, even to this day. I just can appreciate that so much as a guy who really liked Justin Verlander growing up.
Really fun conversation for sure. Real quick, the Open Championship is this week. Super excited for that. We bring this up because it's Tullymore Tuesday rather. But it's going to be really fun. I love the Open Championship just because we're on the air and we can watch it while we're talking to
right.
Here are some of the groups. You ready? Rose, Hovland, and Henley. Scheffler, Hatton, DeChambeau. Spieth, Fleetwood, Rahm. Goddard, Scott, and Burns. McIlroy, Schauffele, and Fitz. I don't know who Fitz is. I'm sorry. I mean, I like to think I know I golf, but I don't know who M. Fitz is. Who are you following there?
It's a really tough one to pick. I mean, I do love the Scheffler, Hatton, DeChambeau group.
I do too.
I think that'd be there's a lot of power there.
I might follow the Spieth, Fleetwood, and Rahm.
That's a good one too, for sure. No question.
I do like
good too. So
yeah,
like
he
that
has.
Yeah,
he's got the second most wins compared to Scheffler, I believe. I like Tommy Fleetwood a lot. I'm not going to sit there and say I'd root for him over a guy like Spieth or Scheffler, but
no, Tommy's fun to watch, man.
But he's really fun to watch. That course, I was watching a little bit last night. There's nothing on, right? Are you watching the Home Run Derby? I went and watched live from the Open on the Golf Channel for a little bit because the Home Run Derby for me, I mean, it gets so old, right? Back in the day, if you were watching Mark McGwire hit him over Fenway Park over the Green Monster, that's something else. Like you may not have liked Mark McGwire, but at that point, people there in Boston were super fired up and wanted to see more because of they were in awe of the power, the towering home runs that you had to have in order to get over the green wall. So it got a little old for me. So I go to Live Open, and they were doing something on Jordan Spieth and a few other guys and how you have to play that course. And then I saw an interview with Nick Faldo, and people had asked why Bryson DeChambeau has failed to make the cut at each of the last three majors. And Faldo brought up a great point. He's super bright. He was a very good analyst, I think, too. I kind of miss him in the booth. I'll take him over a lot of the guys that they have right now. Anyway, he said, there's no plan. And it got me thinking a little bit. Not that it's anything close to it, but what's your plan? When you've played a course before, and Andy, you play golf, you play the same course once a week because you play in a league. Do you have a plan on how you're going to attack it? And he was complaining about how Bryson DeChambeau not only doesn't have a plan, but Bryson DeChambeau just tees it up, grips it, rips it, and just pounds it as far as he possibly can. Where on these types of courses, and it's Royal Birkdale for this year's Open Championship, you're not going to bomb it every single time because of where it can get you. It almost lures you into that feeling, and then it'll punish you once you get there. So instead of hitting driver, maybe you want to hit iron and then come into the green with a different approach because you get so much run. I mean, they were talking about certain holes on Royal Birkdale, and there's about 4 or 5 they've redone. But they were talking about some of them, how you can literally run it up there. It'll run 100 yards for you. 100 yards if you hit it short of a green or a certain spot. So I'm really looking forward to that. Those were just some of the groups that I was thinking about. Biggest question mark for the Lions. This is a good time to talk a lot of NFL, a lot of football. Saw an article yesterday on the breakout players of the year. Phil Simms has put something out there that's pretty interesting. The comps for Jared Goff, things that we talked about the other day, we'll get to as well. But one of the biggest question marks is the left guard position. We talked about it yesterday with Jeremy Reisman of Pride on Detroit. And somebody had put this out there regarding Miles Frazier. I liked it when they drafted him in the 5th round out of LSU. I liked his comp. I thought he would go sooner than the 5th round, but I did like it. I was disappointed that he was injured. He logged 817 career pass protection snaps at his 2 spots in college. Florida International, then he transferred to LSU. All right. Guys transferring these days, it doesn't matter, especially with the NIL. He ranked 17th out of almost 6,000 offensive linemen over the last decade in pass protection. The question at the guard position, and he played some tackle, obviously, at LSU. The question at the guard position is, can you run block? Now, passing's huge too, obviously. It's a passing league. We've talked about that ad nauseum. But this is a guy, and that doesn't always translate college to the pros. I get that. But this is a guy who's got he's got a very good track record of being a very good blocker, but an exceptional pass blocker. I still think if it's an open competition, Barch, Mahogany, Frazier, I still think Miles Frazier is the guy we should be watching out for. I don't think he's kind of under the proverbial radar for a lot of people. But when we come back, who's the breakout player? I've got a different version of one from The Athletic. We'll talk about it on the other side. This is a Tullymore Tuesday, and we're brought to you by Meijer here in the second hour of our program, X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
The big shows are at Soaring Eagle. Eric Church. All you gotta do is put a drink in my hand. Friday, August 14th with special guest Ashley McBride. The Free the Machine Tour, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $87 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com.
Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
The party starts with Eric Church plus Ashley McBride. August 14th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge year for the Purple community of Van Andel Institute. They're honored to be a part of the Make Ways for a Great Cause at the Stand Up for the Cure Lakeshore paddleboarding event at Ross Park in Norton Shores on Saturday, July 25th. Grab your paddleboard and your sunscreen to raise awareness and critical funds for community health programs at Hackley Community Care and Breast Cancer Research at Van Andel Institute. Paddleboarders of all experience levels are welcome. The vibrant event will also include yoga, music, family-friendly entertainment, and screenings for breast cancer. Learn more about Stand Up for the Cure Lakeshore and register at suftc.org.
We were talking just before the break about Justin Verlander and Alex Rodriguez and that mess of an interview on Fox yesterday. From a text, this is what you keep getting at sports more and more broadcasts, hiring ex-players with only a name and no knowledge, no personality versus ones who went to school for gigs, learning it and studying it. I think you get a lot of that, but I also understand why people want to watch those guys. Alex Rodriguez, steroids, but played at a high level. Wasn't on steroids in Texas, I don't think, but he played at a high level. David Ortiz played at a high level. Derek Jeter played at a high level. Who wouldn't want to hear the insight from those guys? I think Kevin Burkhardt's one of my favorite broadcasters. I think he's outstanding. He pulls out a lot of good stuff from those guys. Doing an interview, I'm not going to blame any of the research department. It's not that hard to research on your own. It's your space. If Alex Rodriguez was doing an interview with a hockey player at the All-Star game last night, whomever, they're in Philadelphia, he was doing an interview with a football player, and Jalen Hurts happened to be there, okay, or Devontae Smith, and he messed up that Jalen Hurts, won the Heisman, and it was really Devontae Smith, and he messed that up. I could almost understand it, right? And then you get a producer in his ear correcting him a little bit, but to be in your space as a baseball player, as a baseball icon, interviewing another baseball icon of your generation, that seems to be odd. It's not like he's sitting there interviewing, the late, great Ted Williams. If you're doing that and you may not know some of the pitchers that Ted Williams faced, and you're trying to go down that road a little bit, you could almost understand it. He's talking to a guy who he competed against, who he prepared for. That's weird thing.
Knowing his draft history and stuff might not be something I even expect him to know, like when he was playing against them. It's just the fact that, like, if you're an analyst, like you said, you have all day to get ready for that. You're going to talk to Justin Verlander at some point. That's just a pretty easy thing to not get wrong, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's where he got drafted at. I mean, that's everywhere, okay? Like, maybe the DFA thing, I just want to know where he got it from. Like, he was on the Tigers he never got DFA'd. He was there.
He had to have. I mean, traded is one thing.
Yeah, sure.
Signed as a free agent.
And that might have been what he meant. Who knows? But maybe he meant that, and he for some reason said DFA'd. I don't know.
But then what happens is usually, Andy, what happens is people will go. Somebody will be in your ear, and you will correct it.
Right.
And that never happened.
Yeah, if he would have known that he said it and stayed proud about it, meant to say traded or something like that. You know what I mean? Just to clear the air for himself there a little bit. But
very, very strange. Very strange. Okay. Somebody had said you got more guys hitting for average than hitting for homers, makes games more fun to watch. Does it? It does for me. But what do you watch a baseball game for? Do you watch it for hitting or do you watch it for homers? How do you handle that?
I mean, yeah, for me, it's every part of the game because I like every part of the game like that, like defense, like pitching, like all that stuff. But I get why maybe somebody that doesn't watch baseball as much wants to see the power more than anything else. I mean, home runs are easily, if not the most exciting part about the game. It's right there with it.
Okay. I look for good players and good plays in general.
Yeah, like I like seeing good defense, like somebody throwing somebody out of home or a diving play or something along those lines. And I've always said to people my whole life, I don't know if it's just because I like baseball that much, but I love a pitching duel too. Like I love it. And not maybe not an all-star game, but I like to see like a 1-2 game every now and again. You know what I mean? Where it's like whoever got that hit really earned that hit. Like I like that part of it too.
I see. I'm glad you said that because I can appreciate a 2-1 game as much as I can appreciate the power of a high scoring affair.
Sure. Yeah. Every now and again, you want to see a team just like, bomb another team or something like that. Or you like seeing like, 4 home runs in an inning or something along those lines. But yeah, I don't want it to be like that all the time. That means that means there's no value in pitching. And what's even the point then?
Exactly right. Shep, when would Detroit get a baseball all-star game again? That's a good question. Next year, it's at Wrigley Field. 2028, I mean, if there is a next year, 2028, it would be I don't think they've announced that yet, Andy. You can correct me if I'm wrong here. I think the front runners are San Francisco, Oracle Park, Toronto, and or Baltimore. That's what I have recently kind of deducted. Now, do you think Comerica deserves another All-Star game? That's what some people will then debate. Comerica Park last had one in 2000.
You were saying for next year where the All-Star game is going to be?
It's at Wrigley.
Wrigley Field, yep.
No, I'm saying the year after.
Okay.
So 2027 will be Wrigley. 2028, I believe it'll be either San Francisco, Baltimore, or Toronto.
Yeah, West Coast venues. It says, yep, that's correct.
Toronto
or Baltimore are in there as potential ones that could have it. Otherwise, it says, somewhere in Los Angeles.
So the last time Detroit hosted an All-Star game was 2005. Miguel Tejada was the MVP. The American League won 7-5. Mark Burley started for the White Sox. John Smoltz started for the Braves and the National League. I believe that's the last time. Am I wrong? Now, San Francisco, I just mentioned San Francisco might have one. They had one more recent in 2007. So why would you get another one there? That's a little frustrating for a lot of people, I'm sure. How many times has Detroit had it? So 2005, 1971 is arguably the most famous All-Star game in history. I would say, because of the number of if you look at the number of Hall of Famers that are part of it. I mean, Frank Robinson was the MVP in that game. It was Vida Blue. It was Doc Ellis. It was simply spectacular. When you saw the names in that game, Johnny Bench, Willie McCovey, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Willie Stargell, Steve Carlton, Fergie Jenkins, Tom Seaver, Juan Marichal, those guys were all part of the National League. And then you look at Sparky Anderson was a coach there. He was the manager, I believe. Walter Alston was a coach. And then when you looked at the American League, and you saw Vida Blue, and you saw Rod Carew and Boog Powell and Tony Oliva and Carl Yastrzemski and Jim Palmer, and we could go on. Thurman Munson, Bill Freehand, one of his 11 All-Star appearances, I believe. Al Kaline. It was amazing how many great players were in that game itself. So that was 1971. Did Tiger Stadium or Briggs Stadium have one before then? I thought they had one more. So I think there's only been 3. Briggs Stadium, 1951 they had it. So actually Briggs Stadium had it in 41 as well. All right, so it's been 4 times. But bottom line is, when could Detroit get another one? It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what they look for in deciding on a location other than perhaps, a fan base, and they haven't had it there in a long time. 2005 has been a long time. So you're looking at 21 years. It's going to be at least 22, 23 years. My hope is by the time 2030 comes around, that'd be really nice. As far as an NBA All-Star game, LCA should have one. It's a relatively new arena.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
No
It's
question
a gorgeous arena. The Pistons are hot. The Pistons have one of the best players in the world. I would expect the NBA All-Star game to come to Detroit shortly, within the next few years. I'll have to look that up and see if the commissioner's office has already designated certain sites. We'll do that when we come back. We got some football discussion for sure as we carried over from yesterday here on X's and Bros. This is a Tullymore Tuesday, and we're brought to you this hour by Meijer.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com.
We go together.
The Jonas Brothers.
I'm a sucker for you.
The greetings from your hometown encore. The Soaring Eagle Outdoor Concert Series. Special guests, boys like girls. Tickets for the Jonas Brothers start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. Hang out with the Jonas Brothers and Boys Like Girls August 5th at Soaring Eagle Casino. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Get a jump on back-to-school shopping with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves. Stock up on school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer 70-sheet notebooks, glue sticks, 2-pocket folders, and 10-count washable markers. Plus, save on breakfast favorites like select varieties of Meyer toaster pastries, pancake mix, syrup, and instant oatmeal, all just $1.79 each. Good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See the Meyer app for details.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Okay, 35 after the hour. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. We're brought to you this hour by our friends at Meijer. It is a Tullymore Tuesday. Super excited to have you along for this ride. I can't believe this. We got a text, not just a Major League Baseball All-Star game. When's the next NBA All-Star game going to be? I expect it to be happening soon. I look up information. There was never an All-Star game at the Palace. I didn't know that. There was a draft because I covered it, and Detroit drafted Lindsey Hunter and Allen Houston. But there was never an All-Star game. The last NBA All-Star game that I can find, Andy, tell me if you think I'm wrong here. The last NBA All-Star game in Detroit or Metro Detroit was 1979 at the Pontiac Silverdome.
I mean, it sounds right. Yeah.
Sounds right. Is it right? I hope it's right.
Yeah.
I hope it's right. I mean, the West beat the East. There were 31,745 fans there. David Thompson from the Denver Nuggets with the MVP. This is how long ago Detroit has had an all-star game in the NBA. Where the hell has the NBA been? Honestly.
I mean, did you look into the NHL ones at all too? I looked into that as well.
I mean, the texture brought just baseball and basketball. So you go ahead and do that. I know Joe Louis had one.
1980 was the last time though.
That's crazy.
That's a long time ago.
That's a really long time ago. LCA should have them both.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's crazy.
Here's how long ago it was for the NBA when the Pontiac Silverdome held one. George Gervin. I'm going to read you the lineups. George Gervin, Pete Maravich, Moses Malone, Julius Erving, who was just here as a coach of the Big Three. Wonderful man. Rudy Tomjanovich, Elvin Hayes, Bobby Dandridge, Bob Lanier, Campy Russell, Larry Keenan. He was a guard for San Antonio with George Gervin. Doug Collins as a player. And Dick Motta was the coach. Here's the irony. That was the Eastern Conference. How long ago was it that Detroit held an NBA All-Star game? San Antonio, New Orleans, Houston were all in the same conference as the Pistons and Sixers.
That's crazy.
Okay? The Eastern, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference had Paul Westphal, Marcus Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, David Thompson was MVP, George McGinnis, who played for Denver. I remember him as a Sixer, not as a Nugget. Dennis Johnson, not with the Celtics, with Seattle. Jack Sikma, Maurice Lucas, Walter Davis, Artis Gilmore, Otis Birdsong. Otis Birdsong, folks, played for the Kansas City frickin' Kings.
Yes, hey, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who that is. So
I remember all those guys, but that was when Kansas City had an NBA
Kings. Yeah,
the Kansas City Kings before they moved to Sacramento. Andy, that's how long it's been since the NBA had an All-Star game here. Where has the National Basketball Association been? We have 3 championships since that time. We've had some of the best players in the league.
And we have a new
You've had Isaiah Thomas. You've had Dennis Rodman. I don't have to go through all of them, right? Richard Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups. What in the world is going on here? Grant Hill? These guys are all-stars. And they're not playing in front of their hometown.
I mean, yeah, that's why I had to search the NHL, because I wondered about the same thing. And I mean, the Red Wings have obviously had championships since 1980. And it's really weird when you look back at it, because they had a span of, 4 out of 5 years they played at Detroit Olympia, the All-Star game from 1950 to 1955.
Correct.
And the next
Olympia
time,
Stadium was unbelievable.
Yeah, so they had another one there in 1968, and then 1980 was the only time at Joe Louis. They haven't been back for that either.
1980.
Yep. That's crazy to me. I mean, people call it Hockey Town.
Well, look, I get pushback on this. That's a marketing slogan.
I understand.
Okay?
Yeah.
The whole calling a hockey town. But to your point, when they were winning cups, that's what a lot of announcers were saying.
Yeah, it's not, as people definitely say it over the air. Yeah, it's not just
absolutely they do. Okay. Just to the NBA, back to the NBA for a minute. I said 79. Prior to that, the previous All-Star game in Detroit was at Cobo Arena in 1959.
That's nuts.
I'm glad the texter brought this up. I really am. I'm going to tweet this out here. Great question from a listener, and that is, when is the next time we're going to have an NBA All-Star game? Do you not think, and let's be honest here, okay? Maybe I'm too close to it. Do you not think Detroit deserves one?
I do, for sure. I mean, the draft.
Okay, tell me.
The draft is here, right? And people like the draft. The NFL draft.
Yeah. Why does that matter?
I guess I'm just saying, like, if it's like, I don't know, what do you want when you go to a city to visit a game, right? You want it to be like entertaining and the city to be good. I feel like people had good compliments about Detroit after the draft. So I don't know why people wouldn't want to come here to see it, I guess. But
yes, what you have to offer, right, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
When traditionally now, when is the NBA All-Star game? Traditionally, what's the time frame of it?
Like what part of the year? That's
yes.
gotta be what, and like I'm trying to think, middle of the NBA. What is that, like January?
So when you're looking at that, are you not understanding why you wouldn't want to be in Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a little bit.
I'm trying to be as honest as I possibly can.
Part of it, for sure.
Okay?
Yeah,
and I don't think it's the same. Trust me, I don't think it's the same as it used to be. But usually it's mid-February, right?
Yeah.
Why would you want to have it in Detroit? I don't know. Why would they want to have it in Indianapolis? Why would they want to have it in Salt Lake City? Why would they want to have it in Cleveland or Chicago or New York City? They're all dealing with snow, are they not? If it's just going to be a warm weather location, then just get rid of most of the Eastern Conference. Forget Washington. Say no to Philadelphia. Goodbye to Minneapolis. They don't deserve to have it, right? And yet those of all of those places have had it since Detroit last had it. New York's had it multiple times. And I get it. You know, there's a lot to do in New York and so on and so forth. I can't figure out for the life of me. First of all, again, I'm blown away that the Palace never hosted one. Second of all, I'm trying to figure out why in the hell the Palace didn't have one, but LCA has been around for a little bit now. Is it not viewed as one of the best places in all of sports to have one?
I would imagine it is, as an arena. I mean, that's what the Final Four is coming there, right? There's that.
Right. Well, no, Ford Field, right?
Ford Field, yeah.
Yeah. But that's what they do now. I mean, that's not a knock on any basketball arena. That's more towards
more seating.
NCAA has wanted football stadiums to host this stuff. And I don't think it's good.
Like, I mean, definitely not a good view from your seat. That's for sure.
I don't think it's great, but they want, everybody wants the money. I mean, it's all about the revenue. It's all about the almighty dollar. So I get that. I called two of them at two football stadiums. I'm lucky because I'm courtside to call those, Final Fours, those national championship games. One in Dallas, one in Atlanta. Or I'm sorry, one in Atlanta. Where the hell was the other one? Dallas was en route to Atlanta.
Houston, maybe?
I got to look that up. I forget where they were. Oh, San Antonio.
There it is.
San Antonio. Yep. Yeah. So that's a little different of a story. All right. Breakout player for the Detroit Lions. That's a good conversation. Thank you for that. Breakout player. I saw The Athletic come out with an article the other day. The one breakout player to watch for every NFL team. Now, as you scroll down on this, you read some of the names and you understand, Luther Burden for Chicago, for example. For me, I think that, it depends on how you define this. For me, the breakout player for Detroit, I think the guy who's going to really excel is going to be Tate Ratledge. And when you say breakout player, it's a guy who is yet to establish himself. So I don't think it's fair to say Aleem McNeil. Aleem McNeil has established himself. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten that contract extension. Sure, the injury last year, but prior to that, he was viewed as a strong defensive tackle. It's not Jamison Williams. Jamison Williams has gone over 1,000 yards multiple times in his career. Okay. Who would be the breakout player? For me, it's Tate Ratledge. I thought he was good a year ago. I think he's going to be even better this year. All right. The Athletic puts down for Detroit as Tyleik Williams. They write this, and it's written by a friend of ours, Colton Pouncey, who's been on the program a number of times. The easy answer is probably Isaac Tesla, a player who caught everything his way with one hand as a rookie last year. So before I scrolled down and read this, I didn't even think of Isaac Tesla as a breakout.
That was going to be my player, was Isaac Tesla.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's
not because he's
feel
from
like
Grand Rapids, I hope.
No.
Okay. All right.
I feel like just as the season went along last year, I think that he started to show that he could do a lot more than, just make one-handed catches in the end zone. He actually started to have some involvement in the offense when they dealt with a little bit of injury. I feel like with Sam Laporta. So I was just thinking that he could actually be more of an integral part of their passing game this year than just, the one-handed highlights everybody talked about for 8 weeks.
I get that. I mean, would he have 6 touchdowns? I think he had 6 touchdowns last year and 16 catches.
Now that he's more comfortable and again, it's a hard offense to get, attention in because there's so many people to go to. So
that's why I didn't even think of Tesla. I'll tell you why, because Sam Laporta is going to be back. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get a ton of work based on Drew Petzing's past, Trey McBride primarily. We view Sam Laporta as an integral part of the offense. And it's not like Tesla is going to take rocks away from Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jamison Williams.
No, but here's the thing for me. I'm not wishing this upon anybody. I think at some point they fight some injury with like one of those players or two of those players. Maybe he comes along and does something. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those guys was injured last year. And that was obviously Sam Laporta. And it still didn't happen. But it could happen. I'm not saying it's the wrong answer. I'm giving you the reason why I didn't
I get
think
it.
of him.
I understand why there's other players you'd think would be more too.
Yeah, I thought of 2 players. I mean, before the Terrion Arnold drama, you would have thought Terrion Arnold. Let's face it. How many guys on this team could qualify as breakout players? The safeties, when healthy, are already established. One corner is established, even though he didn't play well last year. The other corner, ankle monitor, now Judge says he doesn't have to have it, no longer on the team. So who knows? And you're not going to say, Keith Abney's a breakout player yet, or Roger McCurry's a breakout player.
No,
yet,
I mean, the draft picks is different.
Right? Jack Campbell already had his breakout.
Maybe Rakestraw if he plays. But he hasn't played enough.
Now you deserve to have your Achilles clipped, because that is not a guy who belongs in the conversation. Derek Barnes. I'm going through all these different names. I ended up with only like 3 names. And I'm glad you said Tesla, because that was not one of the names, but I probably should have recognized that. The 3 names were Tate Ratledge, Tyleik Williams, and Christian Mahogany. So that's what I was trying to figure.
Yeah, those all add up to me. I mean, I think Ratledge would be the favorite that a lot of people would think.
Right. I would think so too. But Colton Pouncey says it's Tyleik Williams. He said, think about the Lions offense. Tesla will have to compete for targets with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs. So things we just brought up. His ceiling is somewhat limited, which is ultimately a good problem to have. Instead, I'll go with an even easier choice in Williams, the first-round pick who paid his dues as a rookie and stepped into a full-time starting role. The Lions moved on from DJ Reader this offseason and are now relying on Williams. He's an instinctive player who's light on his toes for a 330-pounder. He's not flashy like Tesla. Well, that's an understatement. It's pretty tough to be as flashy. If you're a defensive tackle, it's pretty tough to be as flashy as a wide receiver. But he can eat double teams and emerge as a run-stuffing nose tackle. The Lions will be pleased with his progress. Not saying it's a bad choice or the wrong choice. It's just not what wasn't going to be my choice. My choice would have been Tate Ratledge, who had a better rookie season than Tyleik Williams did. I don't know if you noticed this, but there was footage yesterday, I believe, of Aaron Donald and a workout with the Rams. And I don't mean just a workout where I'm lifting weights and I'm running a 40. He put on pads and a helmet and he did a workout. We said this a month ago. When was the Myles Garrett trade? Do you remember?
I mean, that was about a month ago.
Okay. We said Aaron Donald's coming back. He's going to come back into an unbelievable situation. Him and Young.
It happened on June 1st for Myles Garrett.
So. June 1st. Okay, so a little bit more than a month ago. All right, month and a half ago. Look at the defense that he comes back to. What's the one thing that will get a player, if you feel like maybe a player retired early, which he chose to retire on his own terms and do so after a Super Bowl championship, right? That's when he retired. He retired after winning a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I believe. Okay. So he can come back. He's coming back to a defense that has Braden Fisk, former Western Michigan Bronco, I believe. Byron Young. Nate Landman's a good linebacker. Okay. Really good linebacker. Omar Spates. You've got Trent McDuffie. Quentin Lake's a pretty good player, I think, as a nickelback. And then you come back to that defensive line. Can you imagine? I didn't even bring up Kobe Turner. Can you imagine Turner, Donald, Fisk, Young, and Garrett? Those 5 guys rotate on that defensive line. That's have we seen anything like that in recent years? No. I mean, they don't play like the Steelers of the 70s, where you're not taking anybody out when it's Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood and Ernie Holmes and guys like that. They're playing all 4 of those guys are playing constantly. The Vikings of that decade with Alan Page and Jim Marshall and Carl Eller and Gary Larson. Those guys all played constantly. Oakland did the same thing. Otis Sistrunk and those guys led the way. Those 4 defensive linemen were playing pretty regularly. With the Rams, when he comes back, and he's going to come back, he's going to be your starting defensive tackle. He's going to be incredible. Think of the depth that they have, the rotation that they can have. It's going to be absolutely crazy how good that team is going to be up front defensively. Our phone number, by the way, that I haven't even given out yet so far this morning, the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. Text line Sports Radio 21,000. We've got more on the other side, including the debate involving Jared Goff. It continues, but this time a different take from a former quarterback. We'll get to that when we come back here on a Tullymore Tuesday, brought to you by Meyer.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, this season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
Get a jump on back-to-school shopping with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves. Stock up on school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer 70-sheet notebooks, glue sticks, 2-pocket folders, and 10-count washable markers. Plus, save on breakfast favorites like select varieties of Meyer toaster pastries, pancake mix, syrup, and instant oatmeal, all just $1.79 each. Good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See the Meyer app for details.
Check 1, 2.
July is hot at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Alanis Morrison. Jordan Davis with Tucker Wetmore. The Lumineers. And Mary J. Blige with El DeBarge.
Come on, baby, just party with me.
Tickets for all shows are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com.
You have old retirement accounts still at former employers that could use some attention. You have accounts that the only time you hear from the advisor is when you call them. It might be time to take stock of your retirement and stop settling for less than you deserve. Having retirement accounts doesn't equal having a retirement plan. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Stop procrastinating and let's coordinate your retirement accounts and make sure you have a plan for success in retirement. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we help people make sense of all the moving parts of retirement: taxes, income, risk, Social Security, healthcare, and legacy. It all works together, so let's make sure all parts of your plan are working together and not fighting themselves. Let's create a retirement of steel. Contact us today to schedule a brief chat to talk about your situation. If it makes sense, we can talk further. If you're good as is, we'll let you know that too. Go to MitchLyonsWealth.com or text PLAN to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. Investment advisory services are offered by MLW Advisory Services, a state registered investment advisor.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Okay, it's final hour of the program. Flying by for us here on a Tullymore Tuesday. Thanks for being with us here on X's and BrO's. I always get fascinated by ex-athletes lists. I was having this conversation playing golf with Jim Miller and Todd Haley the other day and Otis Wiley. Otis Wiley came and joined us as well from Michigan State. So 3 former NFL guys. And we were talking about lists, what spurs people's interest. And we were talking about, best all time. It's so debatable, right? I mean, I don't even know if there's a right answer. It's fun to debate those answers, but it's always fun to have that conversation because I like people's perspective. Now, if you're closed-minded and you're going to tell me that, sorry, no way Joe Montana can be better than a more recent quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, then you need to wake up and at least do a little bit more research. Doesn't mean that I'm right because I think he's better. It just means you have to be willing to listen and have a conversation about it. Phil Simms has been around the game a long time, not just played and won Super Bowls, but Phil Simms also, worked for CBS and has worked for various broadcasting outlets, sharing his opinion, and I greatly respect it. So Sunday Night Football on NBC had a recent post on social media of Phil Simms's all-time in their prime quarterbacks. When they're in their prime, who was the best? What's surprising to me is that Joe Montana is not in his top 10. That to me is incredible, since Joe Montana was incredible. Now, maybe it's based when I look at it, I think of career, all right? And I look at certain moments. I don't know if there's a better clutch quarterback in my lifetime, but he never threw more than 31 touchdowns. It's not the same game as it was way back in the day. He never threw for 4,000 yards. Again, he came pretty close. It's not the same game as it was back then. He's 117-47 all time. He's got 4 Super Bowls. He's the MVP of 3 of them. He never threw a pick in the Super Bowl. All those are impressive numbers and accolades associated with Joe Montana. Here's a guy who threw 11 touchdowns but no picks. Beat Cincinnati twice, including one at the Silverdome. Beat Dan Marino in Miami and beat John Elway in Denver. And blew both those guys out. Like, it was closer against Kenny Anderson and Boomer Esiason than it was against the 2 greatest quarterbacks, which is another reason why I don't think you can always just give the quarterback credit. Anyway, Phil Simms, whose opinion I could appreciate because of his accomplishments, did not have him on the list. Who do you think would be on your top 10 in their prime lists? You don't have to give me 10 guys, but give me a few. Who would be some of them that you've watched? Montana would be one of mine. Aaron Rodgers would be one of mine.
I was going to say Aaron Rodgers would be on mine. I mean, Tom Brady, obviously.
Tom Brady for sure.
You can't
John Elway.
count him in there.
John Elway would be one of mine. Dan Marino would be one of mine. I tell you, when Fran Tarkenton was really good, but he doesn't compare to some of the other guys. Roger Staubach would be one of mine. I'm going back a ways, obviously. Is there anybody from today? Look, Peyton Manning for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say
in his prime.
You'd have to say Peyton Manning. I think you'd have to put Patrick Mahomes in there. I mean,
absolutely,
you can't not. Yeah,
absolutely.
With how many Super Bowls he's won? Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So here's who. Is there anybody else? Anybody from today? Like, would you ever put Matthew Stafford? Probably not.
No,
not top
I mean
10.
not in top 10. Just with all the with championships accomplished and stuff from other people, it already puts him towards the back end, in my opinion.
What about Drew Brees? What about Drew Brees?
Another really
in his prime,
really tough one to keep out of there.
Yeah, he's a really tough one. Here's who Phil Simms has all time in their prime. Peyton Manning was number 1. Then it's Patrick Mahomes. Then it's Aaron Rodgers. Then it's John Elway. Then it's Brett Favre. Then it's Josh Allen. Then it's Lamar Jackson. Then he's got Dan Marino. Then he's got Tom Brady. Then he's got Roger Staubach.
See, it feels like at that point you're just using the eye test method, I guess, because it's not like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen have won championships yet, or even it doesn't matter if you haven't won a Super Bowl. To me, it's kind of tough to be in that conversation.
All right, fair enough. It's good criteria for you. So Dan Marino's out for you.
Yeah, I mean, like that's where again people are using the eye test to feel like at that point, just because like he was one of the best to play the game clearly by watching him play. But yeah, I take a lot of value in championships.
Okay.
So,
well, then how many is enough?
I think if you
just said Drew
I think
Brees,
if you
Drew
won,
Brees only has one.
Exactly. I think if you
Brett Favre has one, Aaron Rodgers has one,
but not too many have won. 3 or 4, whatever. Like like Mahomes, Brady, the people that we're talking about at the top there.
So you would take Josh Allen out, Lamar Jackson out, Dan Marino out, right? Based on that logic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those 3 are gone. Who are the 3 who replace them?
That's a good question. I mean, it's got to be people that have won, and that's where Stafford, if he was going to be at the back end for me, probably could make it in the top 10. It'd be possible for him too.
Yeah, I mean, based on your logic, Matthew Stafford is better than Dan Marino. Jeff Hostetler is better than Dan Marino. Trent Dilfer is better than Dan Marino.
That's fair. Yeah, I get where you're going with it.
Could you put Kurt Warner in there? He's won 1, went to 2, right? So could you put Kurt Warner in that top 10? What about this guy? Never gets enough love. What about Terry Bradshaw?
Yeah, seriously.
Terry Bradshaw's 4-0 all time in Super Bowls. And by the way, Terry Bradshaw called his own plays.
That's crazy.
Which is a lost art today.
Seriously, calling your own plays? It's nuts.
Yes, that's a big deal, man. I mean, Joe Montana had Bill Walsh, who's arguably, I'd say he's the top 5 coach of all time. So he didn't call all his own plays, but all these guys at some point are doing something that they want. They've got to check into something, right? They break the huddle. They've got 2 plays that they've called in the huddle, and then they decide on which play they're going to run. So is it their play? Maybe not, but it's not like they don't have any input in it. How's that? So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, I need to know the 3 guys. I need to know the 3 guys you would take over the 3 guys that you're bouncing from Phil Sims's top 10. Got to have one.
That's fair. I mean, it's tough to say like who exactly I guess I would put in over some of those guys off the top of my head. I guess.
Well, would you put Troy Aikman in there? Would you put Ben Roethlisberger in there? He's got 2. He was awful in one of them. But
he was bad in one of them for sure. So I mean, Peyton Manning was bad in one of his Super Bowl wins too. So the one that they won against Carolina wasn't great exactly.
That's right. He was. I think he was okay against Chicago. It was a rainy night.
Yeah,
he was the MVP of that. Still don't understand why they kicked to Devin Hester. Anyway, would you put Eli Manning in there? He's got 2.
Yeah, Eli Manning's question. Yeah, that's tough.
I'll throw a name from way back in the day, and that would be Earl Morrall. He's got 3. He wasn't the starter in all 3, but he's got 3. I mean, I just don't. Jim Plunkett, he's got 2. Bob Greasy's got 2. You're trying to tell me that Bob Greasy's a better quarterback than Dan Marino?
No.
No.
That's fair.
He's not.
I mean, there's plenty of quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls that sure are not better than some of the quarterbacks.
I mean, we're talking about.
I get it.
Would you rather have Josh Allen or Nick Foles?
Basically, what I'm trying to say with that is, I guess where I would start at is the guys that have a lot of Super Bowl championships. Like that's where I would start at. If you have if you have 3 or more, to me, you should immediately be in the conversation no matter what.
Can I just qualify that real quick?
Sure.
As long as if you started 3 or if you won 3 as a starter, is that okay?
Yeah.
Or multiple as a starter?
Yeah.
So, for example, Jeff Rutledge has got 2. David Humm has 2.
Yeah,
he's starting both of them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No knowledge there.
Yeah. Quick timeout. We're back with more on X's and Bros right after this. We're brought to you this hour by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
in the Den.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. This is Matt Shepard. The 96th Annual All-Star Game is tonight in Philadelphia, and 4 Tigers help represent the American League. First-timers Dylan Dingler and hometown kid Kevin McGonigal, 10-time All-Star Justin Verlander as a Legends pick, and Riley Green, the first Tiger to make the Midsummer Classic 3 years in a row since Miguel Cabrera, and the first Tigers outfielder to do so since Al Kaline. Only one Tiger is a starter, Green. He'll start in left field for the second straight season and bat 8th. Tiger fans a year ago focused only on his league-high strikeouts, forgetting his 36 homers and 111 RBIs and his all-star status. Maybe this year's improved walk rate, lowered strikeout rate, plus another all-star selection as a starter will earn him the credit he deserves.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Get a jump on back-to-school shopping with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves. Stock up on school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer 70-sheet notebooks, glue sticks, 2-pocket folders, and 10-count washable markers. Plus, save on breakfast favorites like select varieties of Meyer toaster pastries, pancake mix, syrup, and instant oatmeal, all just $1.79 each. Good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See the Meyer app for details.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to Shep. Don't forget the huge show later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Okay, 18 after the hour. Welcome back. That's not. I hope Andy doesn't take it that way. I don't think he does. It's not being combative. I'm just trying to get the parameters. That's all. I think winning.
No,
really
I don't.
Important.
I mean,
I think winning's really important, Andy. I do too. I think that's what separates. If you and I had a debate on a player who is Joe Montana better than Peyton Manning? Okay, we could use a lot of different numbers associated with it. You might say, well, he was better at this, he was better at that. In the end, the final might come down to who won more championships, right? And if that's the case, you could almost understand. Look, one guy was able to lead his team. It's not like Manning didn't have great teams, to more titles, and that's what it's all about, right? So it might be the determining factor.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I look at it is like they say the quarterback is the most important position in sports. I mean, you could probably debate that too, of course, but if it is the most important position in sports, at the end of the day, like how many times were you able to lead your team to a championship? That's just the way that I guess that's where I would start.
And I completely understand.
And there's so many quarterbacks you could go through that it would take a while for me to probably actually figure out who I think is in my top 10 and where they're exactly at. But
that's right. I just don't say. I don't think Sam Darnold's better than Josh Allen, but one is the Super Bowl, the other one's never been played.
And I would never say that either. So that's where I take your point in that way too.
That's where I try to just make sure that I'm in line with the whole mindset and what people are talking about. I had put out a texter's question on social media, and I did write. I wrote a great question from a listener. When's the next time Detroit will host an NBA All-Star game? The Palace never hosted one. The last one in Detroit, Metro, was 79 in the Silverdome. Somebody responded, seems like a fair question. What's going on with the NBA? So I appreciate the input. I really do. Really good stuff. Really, really intelligent listeners to our program, and we greatly appreciate it. Speaking of the NFL, anytime you talk about this, I say this all the time. You want to start a conversation if it's dull, right? You're sitting around, ladies are kibitzing over here. The guys, you're trying to figure out, you don't know the guys very well. You're trying to figure out, what you're going to talk about. If they're sports fans, here's a great way to start a conversation. It'll be get everybody talking, and it probably won't end. Who's the best quarterback? Who's the best quarterback in the NFL? You can't do that with a point guard. You can't do that with a hockey team. I can't say, well, I think it's Connor McDavid. Oh, I think it's Leon Draisaitl. You want to go? All right, give me some numbers. People can't. Maybe in Canada they can do that. Here in the United States, for the most part, they're not going to do that. Sorry. I mean, you could bring up Dylan Larkin and have a great debate about that, but I don't know many people who are going to combat one another if I'm going to compare Connor McDavid and Nikita Kucherov or Nathan McKinnon. Sorry. Baseball-wise, sure. I suppose maybe some pitchers, maybe home run hitters. It's usually more about the past than it is the present. If you and I wanted to debate Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler, Tarek Skubal, let's go. Let's do it. It probably doesn't draw the same type of attention nor the same type of passion as quarterbacks do. ESPN comes out with, their list of quarterbacks, their tier of quarterbacks. And we talked about this the other day. Where are they? Execs, coaches, scouts, all bring it up. So we've gone through the running backs and where Jahmyr Gibbs was posted. Quarterbacks, there's nobody from the Lions. Edge rushers, where Aiden Hutchinson was. I believe he was fifth, right, Andy? I believe so.
Yep, fifth. That's what he came in at.
No defensive tackles, unfortunately. From a tight end standpoint, a lot depends on health. Sam Laporta was fourth. Okay. I think we should all feel very kind of proud of that. Offensive tackles, Penei Sewell was number one. They didn't have any Detroit's interior offensive linemen, and now they've got quarterbacks. It's going to be off-ball linebackers later on today. The quarterbacks have Josh Allen number one. Andy wouldn't put him there, and I understand why. They have Patrick Mahomes number 2. I don't get that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. If you're going to include Patrick Mahomes in that list, he's number 1.
Yeah, and he's got and highest ranking 1, lowest ranking 9. I would love to know the executive who voted Patrick Mahomes the number 9 quarterback in the NFL. Maybe you're a little frustrated at his injury. He still possesses, I don't care how much social media or commercials he does and that you might be tired of him. He is, his 267 touchdown passes tied for second all time for quarterbacks in the first 9 years. Only Peyton Manning has thrown for more. He still puts the fear of God in defenses, does he not?
Yeah, and he's going to be even more motivated when he comes back to prove that he's still that good.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do. You can have all the motivation you want. You better have some players around you. But
No
you're
doubt,
right.
they do have to have better players.
How can you vote him 9? I'm not saying he should be 1, but 9? So this is what ESPN does, in case you're unaware. They put highest ranking and lowest ranking and where they were a year ago. So Josh Allen is 1. Highest ranking is 1. Lowest ranking 4. Last year he was 2. Patrick Mahomes, highest ranking 1. Lowest ranking 9. Last year ranking 1. He's 30 years old. It's not like he's 40.
This list, though, is probably like, so it's like for this season, right? Like coming in, or is like for
correct.
Well, okay, so like I could see like maybe something just because of the injury or something. They don't think that he's number 1 right now. But
9?
No, that's what, not 9, 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still hard to put him. I feel like you have to respect what he's done in so many recent seasons and still have him at number 1 right now.
Yes. I don't think he would be. I wouldn't vote him 1. I'm referring to the 9 that blows my mind. How somebody could actually have voted him 9. I respect what look. For me, it's not always based on what they've done. Otherwise, Aaron Rodgers might be number 1.
That's what I was gonna say. If this
Okay.
is like for this season, where I'm not gonna tell you that Aaron Rodgers is even in the top 20.
But to vote Patrick Mahomes outside the top 5, I think is ridiculous. They have Matthew Stafford at 3. Okay, highest ranking 1, lowest ranking 5. Last year's ranking was 6. He's the MVP of the league. He's a phenomenal player. He's got his arm is one of the best arms the league has ever seen. I wouldn't put him at 1, but he's a top 5.
100%.
And I think he's always been a top 5. Joe Burrow is at 4, highest ranking 1, lowest ranking 6. You're trying to, so if you're going to use your logic, not Andy's logic, but anybody's logic who may have said Patrick Mahomes' injury, what about Joe Burrow's injuries? Have we taken that into consideration at all?
Right.
What is it that, and no offense to Joe Burrow, I think he's outstanding. I really like him. I do. I'm just trying to figure out for the life of me. He played 8 games last year, Andy.
And he's had these kind of problems for a couple seasons where he's not played in a lot of games. So,
it's only been 2 years, right? He played 10 games a few years ago. He played all 17 2 years ago. 3 years ago, he played 10. Played 17 2 years ago, played 8 last year. But I'm saying to myself, if somebody is trying to convince me that Patrick Mahomes is 9, and that's the lowest ranking, and they're worried about the injuries, just so people are aware, he played 14 games last year. Joe Burrow played 8. Are we going dollars? And I mean, are we comparing apples to apples here? What are we doing? To me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anyway, so Joe Burrow is 4. At 5, they have Lamar Jackson, highest ranking 1, lowest ranking unranked. Somebody unranked him. I can't help those people. I just can't. Who are you ranking instead of? Be honest. Who are you ranking instead of? Where does Jared Goff lie? We'll get to that when we come back here on X's and Bros. Plus, we've got the final results of the poll question and the Daily Wager, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
We go together. The Jonas Brothers. I'm a sucker for you. The greetings from your hometown encore. The Soaring Eagle Outdoor Concert Series. Special guests, boys like girls. Tickets for the Jonas Brothers start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. Hang out with the Jonas Brothers and Boys Like Girls August 5th at Soaring Eagle Casino. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge here for the Carmody brothers and all the Buffalo Wild Wings across Michigan. You can watch the end of the World Cup at all Buffalo Wild Wings in Michigan. Yes, the U.S. has been bounced, but the best teams in the world remain. And you can watch all the games on all the TVs at all Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. Every single World Cup game that's left, you can watch it at your local Buffalo Wild Wings.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Check 1, 2.
July is hot at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jordan Davis with Tucker Wetmore. The Lumineers. And Mary J. Blige with El DeBarge.
Come on, baby, just party with me.
Tickets for all shows are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
So it's hard not to get too offended is an improper word. Disappointed, frustrated are more appropriate. When your team's player is ranked nationally lower than you think he should be. Some of us lose sight of this concept. We think all our players are number one in whatever it may be, and this is just not true. All right. As much as you may love a certain player, he's just may not be the best at what he does. You think he is, but nationally, they don't have the same reverence. We got a little frustrated with where Cade Cunningham finished in MVP honors, right? We could probably be a little disappointed in, Derek Skubal and how some people may view him as, is he the best pitcher in baseball? When others bring up Jake Murowski, or they bring up Christopher Sanchez, or they bring up Dylan Cease, or they bring up Zach Wheeler, or they bring up Paul Skeens to try and make an argument, you get a little frustrated with it. I think it's the same thing here with this list of quarterbacks that ESPN comes out. Look, even Pro Football, Good Morning Football was talking about it today, about where, or was it yesterday? Either way, where they're talking about how it's a little bit of a surprise that Josh Allen is ahead of Patrick Mahomes. And then you've got the various other players, the Matthew Stafford and the Joe Burrow, then Lamar Jackson. Dak Prescott is number 6, Justin Herbert 7, Drake May 8, then Jared Goff. And I don't know about you. I like Drake May. I think he's a good player. But better than Jared Goff? I mean, he was second in the MVP. He's done it for 1 year. He had a better year last year. This is where they are right now. It's not what I anticipate for the coming season. It's not your overall resume. But as I've suggested, if you're looking at a resume, it can't just be the 1 year for Drake May. Jared Goff, look at what he's done over the last, how much is enough? 3 years. Impressive. What's the argument for Dak Prescott? And it's not that I have anything against Dak Prescott. I think he's a good regular season quarterback. Highest ranking 3, lowest ranking unranked. Last year was unranked. What's the argument for him? Accurate, right? There are only so many of those types of players, according to one NFL coordinator. Progression passer, can read the whole field, pre and post snap, all that stuff. Great. All right. His 4 seasons with 4,000 passing yards and 30 touchdowns are tied for 6th most behind Drew Brees, Manning, Brady, Rodgers, Phillip Rivers. Every synopsis brings up what they've done in their careers, and then they tell you who they are right now. What has Jared Goff done in his career? He's done a lot of things that a lot of these quarterbacks have not done. If you're going to talk about, well, Joe Burrow got his team to a Super Bowl, so did Jared Goff. If you're going to talk about how accurate Dak Prescott is and the numbers he's put up, I can give you numbers. If you want to parse the numbers, I can give you numbers that Jared Goff has put up that nobody else has done. And I've given those ad nauseum. The 3,500 yards plus, the 65% completion percentage plus, the 30 touchdowns plus. It's the only quarterback to have done that in this era 3 straight years. And he was 1 touchdown away from doing it 4 straight years. So I'm trying to figure out, where their parameters are. It's not like I don't like Justin Herbert. I think he's fine. Is there a come to Jesus moment with Justin Herbert fans now this year? You better do something or else, like as in win more than just.
Yeah, I'd imagine if you had some of the same results, they've been having, like, as far as how far deep they go, I would imagine it would be a problem if they didn't go further.
I would agree with you.
You got to start thinking that at some point.
Yeah. He threw 13 picks last year. Jared Goff isn't doing that stuff. Drake May, highest ranking 5, lowest ranking unranked. Size, athleticism, accuracy, all great. I thought it was about production. Maybe I'm wrong here. Here's what they write about Jared Goff, and he's at 9, all right? Highest ranking 5, lowest ranking unranked. Again, what? Last year he was ranked 9th. somebody this year actually ranked Patrick Mahomes 9. Idiotic. Anyway, Goff's last 2 years stack up well against just about any other quarterback. Over that time, he's thrown for 9,200 yards and 71 touchdowns. Only 4 quarterbacks have ever 4 500-yard passing seasons, 4,500-yard passing seasons than Goff's 5. Let me read that again. Only 4 quarterbacks have more 4,500-yard passing seasons than Goff's 5. Okay. Breeze, Brady, Matt Ryan, and Peyton Manning have more 4,500-yard passing seasons than Jared Goff. That's quite a class. Whose consistent Pro Bowl performance was overshadowed by the Rams discarding him for Stafford in 2021. One NFL coordinator. Guy wins. He's going to find a completion if not under pressure. Mature pocket passer with a plus arm who can layer the ball at all levels. So 2 things right there. One is he's going to find a completion if not under pressure. Okay. That's one of the things that is held against him because of the pressure aspect. They bring it up with Goff. They rarely bring it up with other quarterbacks. I don't care who you are. If you're getting pressure in your face, you're in trouble. Most quarterbacks are not great with pressure in their face. Most, not all. The other thing is overshadowed by the Rams discarding him in 2021 for Stafford. Those are the 2 things that follow him. He was traded for Stafford, and then Stafford wins the Super Bowl and wins an MVP. And so he's viewed as less than, and that's fine because you and I aren't saying he's the best in the National Football League anyway. And we're not saying he's better than Matthew Stafford. I think if you say that, I think you're missing the point. But could you say he's higher than 9? You're damn right he could. Is he better than Dak Prescott? Would you rather have him than Dak Prescott? Yes. Would you rather have him than Drake May? Good debate, but yes. In a single game this year, who do you want more? I would take Jared Goff. Okay. Would you rather have him than Justin Herbert in a single game? The answer to that is yes. When you start creeping into the Lamar Jacksons and Josh Allens and Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrows of the world and Matthew Stafford, that's when you get in a little bit of trouble. That's when the debate really arises. Okay. You basically have 5 guys. If you're looking at tiers, think about it. If you break it down into tiers, it's Allen, it's Mahomes, it's Stafford, it's Burrow, it's Jackson. And then it's probably, in no particular order, Goff and Prescott and Herbert, maybe May. All right. Sam Darnold's not on the top 10, and he won a Super Bowl, which is interesting. So Goff at 9. They say pocket pressure did plague Goff a bit in 2025 when he took a career-high 38 sacks. Again, look at the number of sacks that he's had to endure. Are they all on him? No. Are they all on his offensive line? No, they're not. But people will bring up the 38 sacks, and I've brought them up too, and for good reason. He was 31 the year before, 30 year before that. You go 15-2 and you're sacked 31 times. How do you feel about that? You get to the NFC Championship game, you're sacked 30 times that year. So I think the career high and the pressure in the face and so on and so forth. One knock on him in the past has been his playmaking when the pocket collapses. But he's known in league circles for good footwork, has improved his toughness from inside the pocket over the 5 years in Detroit. He appeared on nearly 60% of the ballots, earn a spot in the top 10. And then number 10 is Caleb Williams, which is, okay, whatever. One GM called him dynamic, got the great arm talent and overall athleticism suited for today's game. And that's a big deal right now. Today's game, suited for today's game. Because many people feel like the game has evolved. Every game does evolve. Look at the NBA. You got 6-8 guys bring the ball up the floor. Okay, although Magic Johnson did that back in 1980, but you understand my point. There's more of them, right? Every sport is evolving. Defensemen in hockey, much more involved in the offense than perhaps way back in the day. And that's how the game is evolving in the NFL. Now, I would remind you, Sam Darnold is not necessarily in that group, and Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl a year ago. And speaking of Sam Darnold, honorable mentions. Sam Darnold, What a career bounce back. He's been lights out for 2 years, deserves to be in the top 10, said one high AFC team official. Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts. Let me just read the Jordan Love thing, since there has been so much hype about Jordan Love, who's a good player. I don't think he's not a good player. I had this discussion last week. I'm like, he's probably one of the more overrated players in the league. Just because so many, and that doesn't mean he's not a good player. It just means that people hype him up so much. Control of the offense, protection, and route adjustments, he has really grown in those areas. I don't think he gets enough credit for playing the position consistently well, and he has got the athletic traits to match it, says one FC scout. That's Jordan Love. Personally, I think there's plenty of quarterbacks I'd take over him. Jared Goff, number one in the division. I would say Jordan Love too. I'd take Jordan Love over Caleb Williams.
I would too. I can't disagree with that.
Okay. I read this on CBS Sports the other day. I was blown away. And maybe it shows you how one of our teams has not necessarily progressed in the offseason with free agency or trades than maybe we would have liked. And other people are noticing just like you and I are noticing. It's the too early NBA rankings. Forget the headline. Here's where they view teams who have gotten better or at least will be better going into next season. The Spurs, the Knicks, the Thunder. No surprise, right? All three of those in the conference finals, 2 in the NBA finals. Then they've got the Pacers because of the return with Tyrese Halliburton, which to me is a little surprising because I don't think Kelly Oubre joining them makes them that much of a bigger threat in the Eastern Conference, in addition to the return of Tyrese Halliburton. Does he make that much of a difference? He's a really good player. Does he make that much of a difference to put him at 4? No. Toronto at 5. Kawhi Leonard's back. Minnesota at 6. LaMelo Ball is an impact. Boston at 7, despite the loss of Jaylen Brown. And I'm thinking, man, where are the Pistons? The Sixers at 8. The Lakers at 9. That's when I went, what? The Lakers at 9? Are you kidding me? You feel that good about Walker Kessler? Whatever. The Nuggets at 10. The Heat at 11. Like, where the hell do they have the Pistons? Cleveland at 12. And then they got the Pistons at 13. And here's what they write. Detroit still hasn't signed Jalen Duren. They didn't land Norman Powell and would have been perfect pickup as an elite shooter and really secondary scorer for Cade Cunningham. On the margins, oh my God, that phrase, the margins. The Pistons have quietly done some decent work this summer. Expanded the deal that sent Isaiah Stewart to Memphis by also sending Marcus Sasser to Dallas, adding Gary Harris and Taurean Prince. Mostly, this trims some money under the first apron hard cap the Pistons are now bound by, leaving ample room for the Duren deal to make it possible. So, in other words, if Duren comes back, maybe they rise in these rankings. Until then, Isaiah Joe adds much-needed shooting. If you lost track of John Collins after he left Atlanta, you probably don't realize he's rediscovered his three-point shot to the tune of plus 40% over the last 2 seasons. He's lights out from the corner. Good news, the Pistons are close to a $50 million under the tax line and some $56 million under their hard cap. There are potentially ways to a Trey Murphy deal if they want. Would the Bucks move Tyler Hero? Could a home run be moved for Michael Porter Jr.? Still possibly to happen. That's why it's way too early, and it's way too early to judge. But you're getting closer. I mean, we're in the middle of July now. I know things are flying by. We're in the middle of July. It's July 14th. We can talk about things other than the trade deadline in baseball. Let's get to the final results of our poll question from yesterday. Here's what we asked you. We asked you, what's your impression of the Tigers of the All-Star break? They're a playoff team. They're still not convinced they're a playoff team. They should add or they should sell. What did most people say?
Well, it's actually pretty separated all around. Thinking they're a playoff team was 13%. Not convinced in the playoffs was 26%. They should add was 19%. The winner was they should sell at 42%.
Ooh, wow, 42%.
So a lot of people still thinking in that direction that this team isn't, good enough to keep players, or definitely not to add players. But I mean, 19% of the votes look like they should add. There's still people out there thinking it.
I tend to agree with them. I guess I wrote it rather vaguely. When you say they should sell, depends on what they're selling. Are you selling Baez, who wouldn't get much? Torres wouldn't get much. Flaherty, Mize, Vest, hell, anybody else?
I mean, there's a lot of people thinking in the camp that they could sell Skubal, but they could buy otherwise. Like there's a lot of ways people think they could go with it. But
yeah. So I know that was rather vague, and my apologies for that. But that's what usually people are giving us. They're kind of just saying it really vaguely. They should just sell. We need to be probably a little bit more specific. There's Drew Anderson would be another name in there. All right, how did the Daily Wager brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort do?
I've heard this too many times now.
Man, that's back to back.
It's not been great this week. Yeah, I did the home run derby. I picked Ben Rice to make it to the semifinal because he had plus odds. Kind of thought with the home runs he's been hitting this year that maybe he'd show something off. Instead, he only hit 7 and hit the least out of anybody in the derby. So that was not the correct choice. It's tough with these all-star games. Not my favorite to bet on. So I'm going away from the all-star game tonight, and I'm going back to our favorite soccer. There's obviously a big matchup tonight between France and Spain. I'm just straight up taking France to advance to the final. So
okay. So you'll have France, and who is France going to play? Argentina?
Yes, it'd be Argentina.
Or England.
Yep, it could be Argentina or England. That's the two. And Argentina's not even the favorite. So I'm taking Argentina though. I think
you are okay. So you think that's the final, France and Argentina? Yep. All right. We'll follow it tomorrow for sure. We'll be talking about a lot of different things tomorrow, including the All-Star game that is tonight. Have a great rest of your Tullymore Tuesday, everybody. This hour has been brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Really good discussion. Really enjoyed it today. Love the comment regarding the All-Star game. So I've put that out on Twitter just to get some feedback, wondering how people might feel about that. Surprising, I think, to a lot of
even
people.
Having the Tiger having 2005, the last time the MLB one was here. It just feels like it's been so long since there's been any All-Star game here, and I haven't really thought about that one time in recent memory.
It's a good point. Yeah, maybe it's because we're wrapped up in for our team to try and get to postseason play, right? So you finally get a playoff series at LCA a year ago, 2 years ago in the NBA, and then again this past year. The Red Wings haven't been able to do it. We had the 15-2. We had the home field advantage that was short-lived. And then, of course, the Tigers with back-to-back playoff appearances. Maybe that's what we're talking about more than the overall scope of the game. And we would like to be recognized for it. And I think we have every right to be, considering the fan base for every sport in this town. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't forget the huge show later on today from 3 until 7 here on the Michigan Sports Network. Enjoy the rest of your day.
In the Den.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. This is Matt Shepard. The 96th Annual All-Star Game is tonight in Philadelphia, and 4 Tigers help represent the American League. First-timers Dylan Dingler and hometown kid Kevin McGonigal, 10-time All-Star Justin Verlander as a Legends pick, and Riley Green, the first Tiger to make the Midsummer Classic 3 years in a row since Miguel Cabrera, and the first Tigers outfielder to do so since Al Kaline. Only one Tiger is a starter, Green. He'll start in left field for the second straight season and bat 8th. Tiger fans a year ago focused only on his league-high strikeouts, forgetting his 36 homers and 111 RBIs and his all-star status. Maybe this year's improved walk rate, lowered strikeout rate, plus another all-star selection as a starter will earn him the